What's up, Devils? J-dawg back here for another Devil's Ass J-dawg Answers questions. So here we go. Got submitted a fucking good one in the last video I posted, which I think this was on the Pride and Joy, the vinyl of the collection video. Even though this is not related to it at all, but I told you guys keep them goddamn questions coming so I can answer. And so I brought it right up here and read it off to you. R Zombie 138. I'm assuming that stands for Rob Zombie, but stand with a I. So shout out to you, Rob. Never seen your comments before. J-dawg, I got a lifting question for you. Oh yeah, talking lifting, talking my language. Here we go. How do I add mass without it all going to the gut? As soon as I up cals, I lose abs. Also, have you read Arnie's Bible of Bodybuilding, and what do you think of it? Love your videos, brah. All right, so two questions in one. Answer the second one first because it's much quicker. Yeah, I have read Arnold's Bible of Bodybuilding. I've actually read it top to bottom twice. That was probably the third book on training I read. And I read that probably about 2 years into training. So yeah, I'm very, very familiar with it. I think it's a good book. Definitely gives you a really good idea of what Bible bodybuilding actually is, because most people don't even know what the fuck it is whatsoever. They think it's just about guys lifting weights and getting strong, and that's not what it is at all. That's powerlifting. Powerlifting is about how much weight you lift. Bodybuilding is simply about how you look, how the physique looks. So, just building maximum mass with is pretty much no body fat, right? So yeah, it's a really good introductory to there. Gives you a good place to start. Shows all the exercises, breakdowns, and things like that. So yeah, really good. Gives you a history of the sport. So awesome fucking book. If you're really thinking about getting into bodybuilding in any stretch or just interested, that's a really good book to read. The only things I wouldn't say I don't like about it is that I think that the training split when you get to the training session of how Arnold recommends, other than the fucking first session, he's got a beginner session with an intermediate and like an advanced. It gets to the point where there's no fucking way you're gonna be able to recover from all that. I mean, even the beginners one that's about as far as you'd be able to go. Like, maybe if you're really young, you can recover from it. But there's like, what was he? He got up to where he was training every body part 3 times a week. There's no way in hell you're going to be able to do that. Now, the only people, like a lot of powerlifters and shit like that, in full body routines, guys will do body parts 3 times a week. But that's because they're only doing like one exercise per muscle group. So, for example, for legs, they're doing, I don't know, 3 to 5 sets of squats, and that's it. Yeah, if you do that, you can train them 3 times a week. But not if you have an actual leg day, like where you're doing squats, leg presses, leg extensions, leg curls, maybe another hack squat in there, or a lunge, or some type of other variation, and you're doing all those. You're taking at least 1 set minimum of all those to complete failure. I don't know. That's 5, 6 exercises where you're taking at least 1 set to complete failure, so 5, 6 total sets of complete failure. There's no way in hell you're doing that 3 times a week. No, absolutely no way in hell. If you're really young and you recover really fast, and your recovery's bang fucking on, the maximum amount you're going to be able to do that for is 2 times a week. Give it a shot. I can do that 2 times a week. And now, the most I could ever do, especially with legs, what I found out is I was able to train legs every 5 days. So whatever it landed on, if I train them on a Monday 1 week, then it would be, I don't know, whatever you put out, Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was. But even for me, what would happen is about after 6 to 8 weeks, I would have to go back to once a week because a lot of my connective tissues and joints around my knees, my T-bands, around my hips, would all be really inflamed and aching like a motherfucker. So I'd have to go back to once a week. 95% of all fucking pro bodybuilders out there, they only train every body part once a week. So that's the only thing I would say. Be careful with that. You could give it a shot. I mean, it's always worth trying everything. I have done in the beginning years, every body part twice. Yeah, I did do twice a week. Started out probably for the first 2 years. So I would have been like 21, 22. Give it a shot if you could do it. If you can recover from it, then great. If you're getting stronger at least every month at every moment, your strength's still going up, and you don't not sore as fuck from workout to workout, then give it a shot. But I find that to be, I don't know too many people that could do it. I know a few people that could do each body part twice a week. But I've never met a single person that could do more than that. So yeah, give it a shot. But yeah, personally, I do every body part once a week. So that'd be my only, basically what I think about the book. But all in all, good book. So yeah, that answers that in the book. And then your second question, what was it about? Oh yeah, here we go. How to add mass without, basically the question that everybody wants to do. He wants to build muscle at the same time while optimally lose fat at the same time. or at the very least, they don't add any body fat. Well, okay, so there's a little tips and tricks. I will say this, a little discouraging, is there's no way you're going to add on maximum size without adding any body fat whatsoever. Now, I know there's people like, oh, you could build muscle and burn fat at the same time. I'm fully fucking aware of it. There's several caveats to that you're probably not under. That's like if, for example, if you're 300 pounds and you never touched a weight in your life, 300 pounds fat, you never touched a weight in your life, yeah, you can build fucking muscle and burn body fat because you have so much excess um, energy storage on you that you can tap into that for energy, like really cut your carbs low and shit like that, up your protein. And the new training stimulation is going to be complete shock to your body. Your body's going to repair that and build it to muscle. So there's few caveats like that. But you're probably not under that. I'm assuming you're just a regular guy. Probably been training a couple years, and I don't know, maybe around 180, 200 pounds, somewhere around there, and you just want to build more muscle, and you're not fat, but you're not shredded either, right? Because presumably you can still see your abs at one point because you said you lose your abs. So I'm assuming you either currently have abs or you did at one point. So I'm assuming you didn't get too fat from there. So yeah, that's a little distance. So if you're in that category, yeah, what I've just described that you probably are in, yeah, there's no way in fuck you're adding a ton of muscle without adding any body fat. However, now that doesn't mean become a complete fat shit. Like some guys way overdo it, they get fat as fuck. My it's been done and it's done successfully by a few, but usually super genetic freaks. Like actually, my favorite pro bodybuilder of all time is Lee Priest, and you can look at his off-season photos. He would get really fucking fat, and then get shredded for the shows. But that's that's not going to work for most people. Number why for two reasons. First reason being you're going to have fuck who know how many, because most times you're doing a diet you're going to want to do like 12 weeks, mostly 16 weeks, the longest. And the reason why you don't want to do a diet for too long is because you're going to risk losing muscle. So that's going to be a lot of body fat to get off in that amount of time. So most people aren't going to be able to do that. But more importantly than that, the biggest reason you wouldn't want to get too fat is because if you get diet down, peel down, which he just had really good skin elasticity, is you're going to have loose skin. And the only way you're getting rid of loose skin, so in case anybody has this, if you lost a lot of weight too, if you have this question, I'll just answer it right here. If you have any loose skin you're trying to get rid of, the only way you're getting rid of through that is surgery. There's nothing you could do. You can't tone it up doing certain exercise. What exercise can I do to get rid of this loose skin on my triceps? Surgery. That's all. That's your only fucking option. And that's one big reason. Don't get too fucking fat. Because yeah, once you diet it off, you're fucked. You get rid of that saggy, nasty looking skin. Yeah, you gotta get it cut out. So that's the only thing around. Not that that's in the world. If you have the money to do it, go fucking do it. I recommend it. It's cool. It's not the end of the world. It's just going to be a procedure and it's going to cost some fucking scuttle. And it's going to be a cosmetic, so it's going to be out of pocket. Insurance isn't going to cover it. So just keep that in mind. So, but anyways, so to answer your question though, yeah, you can't build maximum amount of muscle, especially if you've already been doing this for a few years without gaining any body fat whatsoever. But here's a few little tips and tricks as far as keeping it to a minimum. This kind of goes for anyone. If you've been listening a year or you are a beginner, and if you're a beginner and you're a little chunky, you're like, I want to get bigger though, but it's like you already got a decent amount of body fat on you. Like you're not fat, but you're probably like 18% body fat. What I would recommend, and this sounds counterproductive as fuck, is get very, very lean first. And the reason for that is you're going to grow better from a lean state than a fucking, insulin resistant chunky fucking state. Because the fatter you are, your body doesn't want to absorb calories and especially carbohydrates as much into the muscle cell as well. They just don't. So you're what that's called is insulin resistance. And one way you can kind of monitor that, let's see where you are, especially if you're eating a lot of food now, is go to fucking Walmart and buy this monitor called Relion, RELI-ON. It's a blood sugar monitor. It's what diabetics use to monitor their blood glucose. It's not expensive at all. It's like the monitor is like $10. It's like this little gadget. You're gonna need to buy that. You're gonna need to buy the test strips. It's these little strips that you just stick into the monitor. That's where you take a drop of blood, and then you'll buy the little. I guess you don't have to. You can use I would recommend getting them, but technically you get a drop of blood multiple ways. But they're called they're called, but they're finger pricks. The little it's a very very tiny little needle, little prick at the end. You're gonna need to buy a box of those. All in all, you should walk out of there spending, I don't know, $20, $25 in total. Once you have the monitor, then you just got to reload on sticks and strips. And I just buy 150 at a time. And what you do is monitor your blood sugar. So what you can do is see if you're insulin resistant. Is when you first wake up in the morning, take your blood sugars, see what they are, and they should be under. If you're really kicking ass, they should be less than 90. So anywhere between 75 and 85, you're doing really good. That's where you want to be. If they're over 90, then that's not terrible, but you definitely want to be under 100. If you're over 100, you're not dying, but you definitely want to get that fixed. Meaning go on a low carbohydrate diet, go on a diet in general. You can maybe add some GDAs to your fucking regimen, GDA supplements, glucose disposal agents. Um, Maybe start taking some metformin. That's a prescribed medication, but very easy to get a script for it. That helps with glucose disposal, and that'll make you more insulin sensitive, whatever. But bottom line is, you don't want to just keep pushing food and stuff like that to try to gain weight if you're become insulin resistant. Because at that point, you are pushing mild insulin resistance. For more and more you go, you're basically pre-diabetic. And most people that they don't even realize that they are pre-diabetic. They have no fucking idea, and they are. So yeah, and actually, too, when I say first thing in the morning, that's what my boy Dave Palumbo recommends. But I actually learned a little trick from a top coach, bodybuilding coach, Justin Harris. You guys look him up. Really fucking smart guy. Is sometimes you'll get a false reading from just because when you're sleeping all night, you're laying outside, there's lack of blood flow, whatever. Your readings will sometimes come out high or just fucked up. So what I do, wait about 10 minutes and maybe like do some like move around a little bit, maybe like do a little bit of walking around and like maybe do like 100 reps of like, tricep push downs and like air curls just to really get some blood movement, some side, maybe just a total 100 reps, just really get some blood flowing because it seems like when that blood's sitting, like I've had numbers like where literally like my fasted blood sugar be like the highest I've ever seen is like 114. I'm like, there's no way it's that fucking high. And then I'll check it like an hour later, and it's like, and I didn't even eat, I didn't anything, still had nothing, and it's down to like 92. I'm like, so he's definitely right because he said he's seen the same thing a lot with a lot of his clients. So yeah, 10 minutes, do that, and then take your blood sugars. You really kicking ass, you want to be under 90. And then another thing that you do to see how insulin resistant you are too, after each meal you eat, especially if it has carbohydrates in it, wait 2 to 3 hours. So if you eat your meal at 11 o'clock, wait till about 1:30. Check your blood sugars again. See what they're at. They should be under 130 at post meal with carbohydrates. So if you're like 120, 125, 115, whatever, then you're good. And if you're under 90 first thing in the morning, you're good. So that's something to keep in general. Everyone should be doing that just in general for just general health. You can avoid getting diabetes doing that way. Monitor yourself. So that's one thing. So, but anyways, kind of what I was getting to is if you're pushing your weight up and you're gonna fuck that up. And if you're more and more insulin resistant you become, the harder it is going to be to fucking put on mass without gaining body fat. So that's why, going back to what I first said, if you come from a leaner state, like when you get really, really lean, especially single digit body fat, let's say you get down to, you don't need to get fucking contest peeled, but I would get under 10%, get to about 8% or so. You'll be very lean at 8%. People throw these numbers out too. For starters, 10% body fat isn't, oh, you could just see your abs. No, 10% body fat is you have a full in six pack. That's 10%. A lot of people throw all these numbers out. If you could just barely see your abs, like you just see the outline, you're at 15% easily. Like all these guys saying bullshit ass numbers and like, I'm 3% on stage. There's very, very, very few pro bodybuilders that have 3% body fat on stage. That's very rare. And one of the reasons is, for starters, you can't go under 3%, otherwise you die. That's a medical fact. So these numbers get thrown out. Most bodybuilders, you look at them on stage and they look shredded as fuck. They're probably around 5.5% to 6%. That's the actual true number. So if you get around 8%, trust me, you're fucking peeled. If you take your shirt off, you flex your quads or whatever you flex in your mouth, you're going to see all the fibers and everything in them. Like you're going to be very, very lean. Anybody like, holy shit, you got no body fat on you. Like you ask the average person, you're 8%, they're going to think you're fucking 0% because they don't know that's what you're going to look like. You're not going to be able to grab shit up your stomach and stuff. It's going to feel like just like paper. Basically, it's going to be as thin as paper, the skin on your stomach. So if you start bulking from there, slowly what you do, because at that point, to get to that level, you're going to be doing a lot of cardio and you're going to be eating your calories, total calories going to be very, very low. You're going to be very, very insulin sensitive. So what you do from there is you slowly increase the food and decrease the cardio. Very slowly, week after week, just doing a little bit more, and you'll grow like a fucking weed. So let's say you get down to your peel that, let's say you're at 170 pounds, it's throwing out a number. You'll easily, by the time, if you do it really slowly, you could get up to like 190 pounds within like 4 to 6 weeks and still look very lean. So it's like you just put on fucking 20 pounds. You're never going to do that from a non-fucking lean state ever. It's called rebounding. That's how a lot of really good pros, what they do to so that way they're not fucking blasting away, fucking their body in the off season too deep. Is they a lot of them will admit like where they make, especially the ones that are kind of like already retired, looking back, like where I made most of my gains was post show, right when I came off my diet. Like I didn't stop training and I just started eating more. And within 6 to 8 weeks, that's where I made my best gains. And everything after that was just like a few pounds here, a few pounds there. So that's the quickest way to fucking do it. It's come from a lean state. If you don't want to do that, like I said, it's going to be a slower, more uphill battle. You are going to put a little bit more body fat on. You just make sure you can do little things too. Is add cardio first thing in the morning, fasted, get your metabolism going, get everything started. It's going to burn a little bit of calories, and like your food's going to digest a little bit better. You can add in things like GDAs, like I said, glucose disposal agents, all your meals with carbohydrates. There's a bunch of good brands that sell them. It's basically mostly going to be berberine going to be the main ingredient. So like Enhanced Athlete sells a good one. 5% Nutrition sells a good one. What is it? Jeff Long about pro bodybuilding. He has a company. I forget the name of his company. He's got a good one. There's a bunch of them, but the main ingredients will be berberine, somewhere around 400 milligrams. Those will work. Those will help push more of the car. It kind of acts like insulin in a sense. So be careful with it because it can drop your blood sugar a little too low. So just make sure to kind of like monitor your carbs, make sure you're getting enough carbs with it, and that'll help push the carbs more into the muscle cell and away from the fat cells. So that'll help keep you leaner while doing it. And make sure your macronutrients are aligned. You're eating the proper foods. Don't just be eating a bunch of bullshit. So you want to be eating lean source of protein. Make sure your protein is at least a gram per pound of body weight. You don't need to go gram and a half, 2 grams. But if you're 200 pounds, what I do, I just go to be extra safe. Let's say you weigh 200 pounds. I just throw in another 30 to 50 grams. If you're eating 230 grams to 250 grams of protein, you're fine. You're good to go. Don't even have to give it a second thought. And then your fats, if you monitor those, you keep those at like a half a gram. So like if you weigh 200 pounds, you're eating half a gram of fat per pound of body weight, from good sources like whole omega-3 eggs, avocados, nuts, macadamia nut oil, grass-fed steak, salmon, things like that. If you're getting your fats from that, you'll be good to go. Get a half a gram, 100 grams. And then what you do is just fill all the rest in with carbs. Start off with 1 gram of carbohydrates per pound of body weight. Weigh 200 pounds, start with 200 grams. So if you're a 200-pound guy, your starting point's going to look like this. You're going to be at 230 to 250 grams of protein. Anywhere in that area is fine. Just a little over 200. Just that way, you're making sure you're definitely getting that gram per pound. 100 grams of fat. And these don't have to be exact, but they should be damn close. Like if you get 90 grams, that's fine. 110 grams, that's fine. It doesn't got to be spot on the money, but it's got to be close. Meaning you're going to have to weigh out your food and measure it. You can't just fucking eyeball this shit. You can if you've been doing this for years. Like me, I don't sit there and measure all my stuff now. I do with my oats and my berries and stuff. I use like just a measuring cup just because it's convenient, because it's just right in the container. But for the most part, I don't sit there and weigh all my meats out and stuff. But I did for years, so I know what 8 ounces look like. I know what 6 ounces looks like. I know what like you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you have to do it for a long time to know. You can't just put a thing of fucking rice on your plate and be like, oh, that's 50 grams of rice. Well, how the fuck do you know? Like if you've never even done it, you have no idea. So yeah, you're gonna have to measure that shit out to get that to get the idea. So anyways, close, but doesn't have to be exact. 200-pound guy, 230 to 250 grams of raw protein, half a gram a pound, half a gram of fat. So around 100 grams. If you get 90, 95, that's fine. 110, that's fine, but definitely somewhere in that area. And then start with 200 grams of carbs, 1 gram per pound of body weight. Wait about 7 to 10 days. Get a fucking. Here's the thing too. Go get out. You gotta own a fucking scale. It blows my mind when guys talk to me like, I don't know, I don't have a scale. I weigh myself in the gym. That's fucking stupid. Don't do that. You got your shoes on. God knows how many meals you already have in your body, how much food's sitting in your stomach. You got your phone in your pocket, whatever. Weigh yourself. You wake up, you take your morning piss, weigh yourself on a digital scale. And what I do is I have a calendar, like one of those big ass desk calendars, right on my wall above my scale. I write my weight down every morning. I do that year round just because it's just routine. That way you just have it. It's all documented. You're not going off memory, nothing. So that's your starting point. Take that. And then so it's 7 to 10 days of the diet I gave you, gaining weight. So let's say you started off at 200 pounds. Whatever, January 1st, whatever the fuck that was, I was 200 pounds. Let's say January 7th, January 10th. Still 200 pounds. You 199.8. You 201. Where are you? If you lost weight or you didn't gain any weight at all, then it's time to add more food. And what you do is you're at 200 grams of carbs, keep the protein and fats are the same, up the carbs to 250. Okay. Now you're at 250 grams of carbs, fats, protein the same. The fats and proteins, you're really not going to need to touch that much. We might need to touch the fats if you're really fucking struggling, but we're going to keep up the carbs. So start there. Just add 50 grams of carbs. See where you're at. Wait another 7 to 10, about a week. I'd wait another week. See where you're at. Gain any weight. If you're like, I'm 202, sweet. Hold it there. Keep holding it there until about 7 days pass, a week pass, to where you don't gain more weight. You're at 202, and like, let's say 2 more weeks go by. Well, no, after that, so you gain, let's say, yeah, you go from the first week, the first 7 days, you gain nothing. You stayed at 200 pounds. You added the 50 grams of carbs. You're at 250 now. So day 14, you're at 202. Cool. Keep it there. When you're at day 21 and you're still at 202, okay, now add another 50 grams of carbs. So don't do it as every day. Give it a good 7 fucking days. So even though you're weighing yourself every day, don't let that fuck with you. Go week to week when you did your last add-in. Because if you just go your day to day, it might fluctuate a pound or so. That's fine. That's just sodium and water. That's not a big fucking deal. If you just keep adding because you see each day, oh fuck, I lost a pound or I didn't gain any weight, that's how you will get fucking fat. You're gonna get fat and you're gonna get fat fucking fast. So yeah, and just do it like that. Just keep going up, 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 up. Go up to fucking 300 grams and then 350. And then, I mean, even like that sounds like a lot, but that's not that crazy. Because, for example, like 2 grams of carbs per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 400 grams of carbs. That's generally around what most people need to kind of gain weight, just to start to even slightly gain weight. Or sometimes they just need that to maintain their weight. People throw these numbers on. They think that's so much. That's not that much. It really isn't. Like it's not that fucking crazy. Especially if your fats are like within reason. Now, what I would do is like, if you get to the point where you're adding and then you plateau, because you will plateau at every number that you keep adding, when you get to about, let's say you get to about your 200, and let's say you're probably weighing around like 210, 212, and you're at 500 grams of carbs, and that's where you plateau. I don't know if I'd keep increasing the carbs there because you definitely will start to push like insulin resistance. I mean, it should hold off if you're doing that. If you get to 500, I definitely would, regardless whether you're insulin resistant yet or not. I definitely would add in those GDAs, like I said, or some metformin. So you can get metformin. You can find it online too at some. I wouldn't say it's not the black market, but it's pharmacies will sell you to you without a script. You can just search that too in case your doctor doesn't want to write you a script. I would start off with 1,000 milligrams, like either first thing in the morning before bed, and then add another 1,000 milligrams because that's going to actually do you a service, help keep you leaner and process your carbs a little bit better when you're eating that much. It's going to protect you from becoming diabetic when you're pushing that kind of food. So keep that in mind. But so like when you get to about 500, if you need to gain more weight, you're still wanting to gain more weight, then I would start to add increase the fats, and I would increase those probably about 25 grams per per purchase per day. So you were at 100 grams, I would increase to like maybe like 125, and you could do that easily just by like if one of your meals is like a protein shake, let's say it's a shake with some oatmeal in it, you blend it up. You can add like 2 tablespoons of all natural peanut butter in there. Throw some mac oil in there. You can add another fucking half an avocado to like one of your meals, things like that. Um, yeah, so you can start there on one of your other meals. Add a couple more whole eggs, things like that. But so yeah, maybe like one. If you want to increase your fats about 25 a day, how would you do that? Maybe do like 1 tablespoon of all natural peanut butter to one of your protein shakes, and one of your meals just add like two more additional whole eggs, and that'll give you a little extra protein too, and but you'll get the whole fats from there. So yeah, that's kind of like that, and just make sure you're training too. When you're training, if you're gaining weight, you need to be getting stronger. If you're not getting strong enough, you go from 200 to 220 and your strength hasn't gone up at all, you're just getting fucking fat. Like your performance needs to be increasing. So, general rule of thumb, what I noticed is definitely with every 10 pounds, you should notice some type of strength increase. Like if you just gain a pound or so, yeah, you're not going to notice a goddamn thing. But with every 10 pounds, your strength should be going up. And maybe not necessarily on like something like a barbell curl or something like even that should technically go up a little bit, but on the big movements like the barbell rows, the bench presses, the squats, deadlifts, things like that, your strength should definitely be going up. Otherwise, yeah, you're just straight up getting fucking fat. And if you're eating all that food and if you're training really hard, what that would tell me is you're doing too much. Like so, if you're following the Arnold routine and you're doing 2 to 3 times a week, it tells me you're not recovering. That's the only variable because you're eating more than enough food, your body weight's going up. So you'd be recovering, being built bigger and stronger for the next workout. And if that's not happening, it's the only other variable missing is your recovery. So either you're doing too goddamn much in the gym too frequently, or your sleep sucks too. So make sure you're getting 8 hours of sleep at night too. So if you're one of those guys like, no, I'm not that sore or whatever, and I'm eating and I'm doing everything else right, but then I look on, they're sleeping 4 hours a night. I'm like, there's your problem. That's right there. That variable needs to be fixed. So yeah, you're sleeping 8 hours, you're getting all the food in, you're not sore. Like for example, when you train legs and you go to train legs again, your legs need to be fully recovered. Meaning they're not slightly sore, they're not tender, nothing. They feel 100% fresh. That's when you train them again. So if you could do that twice a week and they're like that every time, they're fresh, ready to go. By all means, fucking do it. There's no way I could fucking do that. My legs take 5 to 6 days until they're not sore no more. Just the way it is. So yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you will get fucking stronger. If you put on 20 goddamn pounds, you should definitely be stronger. But if you're not, it's because your recovery's fucked. You just have a bunch of cortisol running around your body, and you're not, you're just storing body fat at that point with all those extra calories. So definitely you don't want to be that. That's another reason why a lot of guys are like, oh, I'm getting too fat with my bulk, and but I'm gaining weight. That's one of the reasons why, is they're pounding the food. They're doing the food part, relatively correct. Some of the guys are a little too sloppy. They're eating too much junk. You can throw a little bit of junk here and there. Now's the time, because you're not going to want to be eating any junk when you're dieting to get shredded. So yeah, the time is my motto is, what I do is I have all my clean meals. They're all set up. But if I'm craving something, I'll just swap one of those meals out. That's it. Like, whenever the day it comes, until I crave something. If I'm craving like a burger and fries, I'll swap whatever. Meal number 5 out. Let's say meal number five was my bison and rice meal. That's usually what meal number 5 is. Usually 8 ounces of ground bison with a cup to a cup and a half of jasmine rice. I'll just swap that meal out for a burger and fries. That's it. All other meals still the same. That'll be my junk, so you get extra calories from it. But I don't like purposely go out and like eat like stupid shit like candy and donuts and just garbage just to get down calories. A lot of guys that you're definitely going to put down fat doing that. So don't do that. Just if like I said, you're craving something, you really want in a mood for a pizza or something like that, that week, just swap one of those meals on. All the meals, keep them the same. Just keep all those clean meals in there. That'll keep the body fat to a minimum. So yeah, that's pretty much the way to do it. It's not overly complicated, and it's going to take fucking time, and it's just what it is, and back and forth. But make sure you do a diet once a year too. That's a big thing I see guys do. They're called permabulkers. They just bulk for like 5-7 years straight, and they never get lean. It's like, pretty much, if you're bulking correctly, honestly, the longest I was ever to go where I kept getting gains was 4 months. Like, so I started bulking this January 1st. I'm up to, I started off the 31st. I was as low as, I was pretty low because I always come down in weight purposely. The last, before the new year, I always come down like some September to the end of the year. I always come down in weight. And then I push my weight back up, first of the year. I just do that for health reasons. I'm not going to get into all that. But anyways, yes, I started off at December 21st, 209, and I'm up to the heaviest. I mean, it's fluctuating around right now, 226. So what is that? I don't know. That's 17 pounds, and we're on this thing. I'm recording this January 30th. So 30 days, I've already put on 16 pounds. So I'll do another 2 months. I'll do all of February and all of March. If I'm still making gains, I'll push it to May 1st, and then I'll start my diet. Bottom line is, what I'm getting at is, you can't go a year straight with keep bulking. You're just going to get fucking fat. You're going to become insulin resistant and shit. The body catches on to what you're doing, and it holds you back. So you need to do everything in cycles. What I do is I bulk. Then once I'm maxed out, like I can't get any extra, weeks and weeks are going by, and it's impossible for me to add any more food, then I do a hard cut. I cut for 10 to 12 weeks. If I didn't get too fat, which I never get too fat, but if I'm still like decently lean at the end of the bulk, sometimes a little softer, whatever. 12 weeks is the longest. I've done them as short as 8 weeks, where I was like, oh, not that bad, and I could get it really, really, really lean in 8 weeks. So whatever that would say, I start April 1st. That'll put me into June, July, depending on the 8 to 12 weeks. And then from there to September, I just maintain that leanness. I stay on a diet, but I don't keep decreasing calories. I don't keep increasing cardio. I just keep cardio and calories where they are. And I maintain that look, just for the whole summer, staying very, very lean. And then September to fucking December is my cycle to where I do a detox. I come off any whatever pharmacology shit I might be using, like I was saying, like talking to you about before, the metformin, things like that, whatever other shit I may be using throughout the year. I take all that out. I kind of eat more normal. Like, all my healthy meals are in there, but again, if I want something, I have it. I just let myself. It's just kind of like in my downtime. I still train. If I'm stressed out and I don't feel like it, I'll take a day off training too. Like, so this last September, December, I think I missed like, that's my downtime. I think I missed like 3 days. It was just whatever. I just was in the mood, whatever. That's when I'm like kind of like a little loose. It gives yourself a little bit of a break. And then I do my blood work in that time, make sure all my bloods and labs come back good, see where I'm at. Uh, just gearing up for the next year. That's what I do. So everything's in cycles. It's the 3 fucking stages of the year, as opposed to most guys that just constantly bulk and bulk, and it's like you're just spinning your wheels. You're never going to get anywhere with that. So you do it in cycles. So yeah, after 3 to 4 months, evaluate your progress, and honestly, man, get your ass on a fucking cut, and then repeat the cycle all over again. That's what it is. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Fucking bodybuilding is what it is, man. It's groundhog every fucking day. So if you don't love it, you're not going to stick with it. So that's one thing. It's a very, very boring lifestyle if you don't enjoy it. It's the name of the fucking game. So that's it, guys. Hope that was helpful, man. And keep them goddamn questions coming. Love the training questions. Submit those too. Mental questions, whatever the hell else you got, too. Maybe shit we've never even talked about. Send them over here, goddamn it. Give me a fucking topic to talk about, and I'll do a video on it for you. And then I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.